guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I last posted anything, but I've got nothing to do. Yeah, so I posted on Instagram, I think a few weeks ago, some questions about either the IB or med school. As you can tell from the title of this video, this question is about the questions in this video is going to be about the IB. So I'll be answering some questions which you guys have asked me, and some more commonly asked questions and some more misconceptions about the IB. So let's get into it. The first question is, what do you regret most during your IB year? This is a hard one because I really enjoyed my IB years in the British School Manila. I guess it would be probably the fact that I didn't work as hard as I thought I could have. Like, if I just didn't go out that one extra night, maybe I would have, done an extra paper. Maybe I wouldn't have, gotten the score that I did. I could have gotten a better score and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I guess what do I most regret during my IB year is probably not necessarily having my priorities straight. I should be studying instead of like going out and partying and like whatever. Question 2, do you miss the IB? Not really, not particularly, because I had to do some subjects which I'm not really good at, that I'm not particularly enjoying myself, like English. You guys know me, I hate English. I was never good at it. Maths was always difficult for me. But I do not miss the IB per se. I miss the people, I miss the free, the CAS, and I miss the experience in school. I don't necessarily miss the course. I miss being around my old friends and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Another one, someone asked, why do I feel brain dead after doing it? I guess it all comes down to time management, and I think that my school did a really good job in this because they gave us internal deadlines which were set way before the final IB deadline, so it didn't feel like everything came crashing down at once. It came crashing down slowly so we could like manage it better. But a lot of people feel the effects of burnout, or they feel like brain dead, because they let the work pile up. I never let the work pile up on me, and so I never really felt the crush of like the pressure that was going on behind the scenes. For example, I finished my EE in the first week of summer. The second week of summer, I was already proofreading it. This was before school reopened in August, and I was already done by June, ready to go. Had all my data collected, processed it, and everything. Another example is my TOK essay and my TOK presentation. Shout out to Audrey Pei. She's not gonna see this. She blocked me everywhere, but like that's a story for another day. Yeah, she claims that she used me for extra time writing the script and everything, but ultimately it was completely my idea. I had to rewrite the script at the last minute because she didn't necessarily fulfill the requirements. But as long as you have a good understanding of everything and you manage your time properly, you won't feel brain dead after doing it. Someone asked, how do you balance your social life and IB? So I guess you have to do it in moderation. Like, my friends and I are really sociable people, so we would often go over to like each other's houses, usually around school events. So if the school would have, say, the summer fete, like a carnival theme kind of thing, we would hang out at someone's house first before we head to the place together, or something like that. But on school days, on a school week, probably limit yourself to 2 to 3 activities at the most, 2 or 3 extracurriculars, so you don't overload yourself. But make sure they're things that you enjoy doing, so that you get to relieve stress. You add hours to your CAS as well. So it's all about good planning, good time management, And if you don't leave stuff to the last minute, you will be able to have moderate amounts of fun and get everything done before the deadline like I did. And you don't really feel the weight of the IB crushing down on you. Another question that was asked was, can you talk about mental health and taking care of yourself during the IB? I guess this also applies to the previous question, wherein you shouldn't be only studying or you shouldn't be only going out to party. I know people that were at both extremes. The people who ended up studying ended up doing really well, and you're getting into like the top universities, but they might not necessarily have the best social life, so it's at a cost to them. The people who don't study, those who are like partying way too often, over studying, they didn't necessarily do as well. They still got into universities and stuff, to my best extent of knowledge. Most of them got into university. Most of them are studying what I think they want to be studying, but make sure to strike a balance. Don't just study or don't just party. But when you feel like the pressure is getting too much, talk to someone. Ask your module coordinators, your teachers, if what you're doing is right, because you don't want to be burning out, because the IB is like a marathon, it's not a sprint. You don't want to burn out at the start and then have nothing left to finish at the end. Don't burn out. Space yourself out, pace yourself. You don't want to burn all your enthusiasm at the start. You need it to power through to the end. There's a reason why it's a 2-year course, or at least in BSM it's a 2-year course. Okay, another question is, what subjects did I do for the IB? So I did chemistry, biology, and psychology at higher level. I did English language and literature, Mandarin, and maths at standard level, and I did an EE in biology. I will not disclose my grades. If you're close enough to me, you would know my grades. But it was good enough to get into med school, so that's all I'm gonna say about it. Do I have any regrets for those subjects? Probably for psychology, because it was such a brand new course. We had no idea that they were just changing the syllabus the year that we decided to take it. So if I had known, I would probably have taken something else at a standard. I would have taken psychology at a standard level, and then maybe I would have taken Chinese at a higher level. So at least it would not have hurt my final score as much as it did this time around. There's another question. What's your general advice for picking the subjects? This is a really common question as well. My mom asks me this, like, oh, what subjects do you recommend your brother take? Because you've already been through it. What do you think he should do? What's the easiest to score? In my year, May 2019, you can't really say that one subject's easier than another, because it's not necessarily fair, because some people are better at some subjects than others. Like personally, I would recommend you check the universities that you're going to for the course that you want to study. See if they have any prerequisites for you. That's how I would go about choosing my subjects. But if your university does not have any prerequisite subjects, like for example med school, you need biology and chemistry, either at a standard level, which will require you to have a higher final score, or at a higher level, which allows you a little bit of leeway with a lower score. Check your requirements before picking your subjects. So you need to have a general idea by 16, 17. 15 to 16 is a good age to roughly know where you want to end up and what you kind of want to study, at least for the initial stages. For me, in my case, I knew I wanted to go into med school, so I had always practiced my biology, always practiced my chemistry and stuff like that. So check your subjects, see what you want to do in university, see what you want to study, and then pick subjects based on that. As for other subjects, for example, things that you just need to fill out, you need to fill out 6 subjects, 6 subjects. Pick the rest of them based on interest, because if you don't like what you're studying, you're not going to put in the effort and you are going to do really, really badly. If you're not passionate enough to put in the effort by yourself, you are not going to do well. Okay, another question. Do you need a tutor to get through the IB with a good score? Not necessarily. I know a few people who don't really have tutors, but a lot of people do. Subjects I would suggest getting tutored in, probably maths, chemistry, biology, the big, heavier subjects. Mainly because I feel like those subjects you really need someone to guide you through it, to walk you through it. Things like English, sure, if you're not good at writing essays, you could find like an essay writing tutor. But there's no syllabus per se for you to like structurally go through with someone more experienced in that area. I personally had an English tutor and a math tutor. The English tutor definitely helped me a lot. Turned out to be one of my best subjects, which is kind of ironic because I had always been bad at English. But it was because I had no idea how to structure my essays, and this person really did help me learn how to structure my essays, and so my thoughts flowed better and my message carried across more efficiently. Okay, there's another question. How do I pick my subjects for my EE, and do you have any advice on it? Well, I would say do an EE that's relevant to an area that you're going to be studying in. So for example, I knew that I would be going into medicine, so I wanted to do something either chemistry or biology related because it was one of my 2 prerequisite subjects to get into uni, basically. And so I did biology EE on the effects of hand washing, which is really relevant right now because of coronavirus, COVID-19. But definitely do think about your topic properly, and this has to be something that you're passionate about because it is not easy sticking through writing. Is it 3,000 or 4,000 words? I can't really remember. I think it's 4,000 words, right? Yeah, 4,000 words. A 4,000 words essay coupled with primary and secondary data. As a biology student, I had to measure each individual diameter of every bacterial colony that grew on a Petri dish. And I had multiple repeats of Petri dishes. So it was absolute torture. But I was passionate about it. So I finished all the data processing in about like 2 days to quite a good degree of accuracy. And then you had to search for research papers that corroborate yours or goes against what your findings are, as a way of like peer reviewing. So definitely make sure it's a passion kind of thing. If you're passionate about, I have a friend, he's passionate about comic books. He ended up writing an English EE about comic books, and I think he did really, really well. But yeah, don't feel like there's an easy EE subject, because there is none. I know some people who handed in EEs that were half finished. You know who you are, okay? If you're watching this, you know who you are. But yeah, make sure you're passionate about it, and if you're gonna do it well. That's the only thing I can say. You don't want to have to rewrite a 4,000 word essay complete with citations and diagrams and referencing and all that kind of stuff the night before, because that wouldn't work. Yeah, okay. Another question is about the IAs and like written assignments and like orals and stuff. Okay, well, as the class of May 2020 would know, it's quite important, because I think, to my best extent of knowledge, their final grades will be dependent on their IA scores, their oral scores and everything. So do it right. Don't mess around. If you're going to be in a science subject, just think of it, or I thought of it as like a mini EE, like half the size. But like it was basically writing another EE, because I did chemistry higher level and biology higher level, so I basically wrote another EE. But I loved it, so it was no problem to me. So get it done properly, double check, triple check, quadruple check. Make sure you get as much feedback from your teacher as possible. Ask your friends to see if they will help you proofread, but make sure that plagiarism doesn't occur, because that can happen sometimes. So just be mindful of that, and I'm sure you would do well. Okay, last question. Is there a combination of things that you suggest I do for CAS in order to maximize what I'm doing? Okay, so first of all, you should have a sport. Play a sport. Preferably it would be a team sport, because then you can talk about how you improve as an individual and how you work together as a team. I play volleyball. I think that's a good one. You need to try something new as well. So if it's already something that you've done, you should try out a new sport, even if it's for a while. It's just 2 years. Stick through with it. I tried out electric studio, so that's indoor cycling. Yeah, that went on to my CAS because I ended up going quite a bit after, and not even just for CAS, because I just really enjoyed it. So you might end up finding something that you enjoy. Something else that you could do, join Model United Nations, because that really helps cover, I think, learning objectives 6 and 7, where you talk about ethics. Model United Nations honestly helps tick out a lot of boxes. If you're doing stuff purely to mark off your learning objectives, Model United Nations is a great way to do it. So you have action, which would be your sport. Service, which I kind of put under, like Model United Nations, I kind of stuffed it under service. And creativity, if you draw, start up an Instagram page, photography page. You could go into poetry. I did poetry for a while as a hobby. Yikes. If you guys know about that, you've been here for a while. Or like me, I joined a band. I picked up new instruments and I joined a band. So that was how I filled out my creativity part of CAS. Okay, that wraps it up for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what kind of videos that you want to see. Subscribe, hit the bell button. I think I have a med school video that's coming out really soon. I'm not sure when this is going to be edited or uploaded, but there's a med school video coming out soon. And yeah, please share this with anyone who you think might be interested in knowing more about the IB, or any tips and tricks from this video that you think might be worth sharing with them, especially with the maximizing your CAS and skills that you should be focusing on developing throughout the IB. So thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.